Hi everybody! Welcome back to our channel. It is Jamie and Skylar here with Explorcation, and today we're going to be continuing our series on the St. Pete Pier.
Thank you for tuning in to the ultimate guide to the St. Pete Pier. In this video, we'll cover a variety of topics to help you enjoy your time at the pier to the fullest, including parking locations and prices, dining options, locations and hours, Discovery Center information, and restroom locations. We'll also address some of the common concerns and complaints and tell you what we enjoy most about the new St. Pete Pier.
The St. Pete Pier has now been open for about a month and a half, and living in downtown St. Pete, we fortunately have the luxury of being able to visit frequently. We've already been to the pier probably at least 10 times. We were actually there before it opened for a sneak peek. We were there on opening day. And since then, we've been there morning, night, weekend, weekdays, sunrise, sunset, pretty much anytime you can be at the pier, we've been there.
And since posting our sneak peek video about 6 weeks ago, we have received a lot of questions and comments about the pier. So we wanted to make this video today to provide our thoughts on some of those questions and comments. And along the way, we wanted to provide a comprehensive overview to help pier goers make the most of their experience on the pier.
One thing that we'd like to address that we've seen quite a few comments and complaints about is the parking situation. So the pier opens every day from a half hour before sunrise till 11 o'clock at night. If you're showing up early in the morning, you really shouldn't have much of an issue parking even on the pier, even on the weekends. But if you're coming during the most popular times, you're probably going to have an issue finding parking on the actual pier itself.
Luckily, there are several options when it comes to parking close to the pier, but we're going to start off talking about the two lots that are physically located on the pier itself. These are going to be the lots that are closest to most of the pier amenities, and we would recommend these lots for anybody who's willing to pay a few extra bucks for the convenience of parking on the pier itself.
The first of the two parking lots located on the pier itself is the Dolphin Lot. The Dolphin Lot is located on the left or north side of the pier road shortly after entering the pier. And the second lot, the Pelican Lot, is located on the south or right side of the pier road further down close to dock Fords. Recently, we also noticed that the Pelican Lot has 6 charging stations for electric vehicles. And both lots do offer pay-by-plate parking, with the cost being $2 per hour for the first 4 hours, increasing to $3 an hour for the 5th hour and $4 for the 6th hour, with a maximum parking duration of 6 hours.
From our experiences so far, we have seen that the Pelican Lot does tend to fill up faster, likely due to its proximity to dock Fords and some of the other pier amenities. Out of curiosity, we visited the pier at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday and found that there were no slots available in the Pelican Lot, but at that time there were a few spots available in the Dolphin Lot.
In case you can't find parking in the Pelican Lot or the Dolphin Lot, there is limited metered parking along the pier road itself. The cost is $2 per hour, up to a maximum of 4 hours from 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. We also did notice there are a limited amount of spaces designated for motorcycle parking. The price for that parking appears to be the same as for the general parking spots.
There is good news for scooter riders though. We did find that there was a designated area for scooter parking along this road that is actually free. In general, we do want to comment on the parking on the pier itself. We saw that there were signs indicating that parking was enforced 24/7. From our experiences so far, we find this to be true. We have seen several parking enforcement staff on the pier when we have visited.
We have seen several complaints about people not being able to find parking on the pier itself, but luckily there are 3 parking options within a 5 to 10 minute walk of the pier that are going to be much more likely to have open spots and can save you a few dollars as well.
The first one is the Sundial Garage. It is located on 117 2nd Street North. The entrance is located on the east side of 2nd Street North, just north of the 1st Avenue intersection and the Starbucks. This has about 1,300 parking spaces. Here it's $2 for the first 4 hours of parking. After that, it's $1 per hour, up to an $8 max.
Another great option is the South Core Garage. It's located at 101 1st Avenue South. The entrance is on the north side of 1st Avenue South, just past the University Way intersection. It has over 1,100 parking spaces. At this lot, the first hour is free, then it's $1 per hour up to a maximum of $8 per day.
The next option is the Al Lang lot. This is located outside of the Al Lang Stadium, also known as the Rowdies Stadium. It is the location of the local Saturday farm market as well. The address is 230 1st Street Southeast, and there's a little over 350 parking spaces. It costs $5 for a full day of parking and would be the cheapest option if you plan to spend the whole day at the pier. We do want to note that this is not a covered lot, but you do pay by space number at the pay station. The entrance to this lot is on the south side of 1st Avenue Southeast. When you enter the lot, the right side is reserved and the left side is the lot for the public parking.
And of course, there is also metered spots available along the streets outside of the pier. People will need to check the hour limits and costs as they may vary. That wraps up our overview of the parking options at and near the pier. Now, if you don't own a vehicle or just don't want to deal with the parking situation, fortunately there is another great option for you, and that's the Downtown Looper.
The Looper is a free bus route. It runs 7 days a week and picks up at the pier approximately every 15 minutes. There's a total of 20 different stops around downtown, and it generally takes around 30 minutes to get around the loop. We will make sure to put a link to the Looper in the description below, so if that might be an option for you, you can check out more details.
Now that you know the best ways to access the pier, we're going to talk about the restaurants and bars. There's actually 3 waterfront dining options at the pier, and the first option is Fresco's. Fresco's is open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. They're located just to the south of the pier entrance and offer indoor and outdoor seating. Menu options include fresh seafood, steaks, burgers, appetizers, and salads. We stopped in for lunch on a Saturday and really enjoyed the crab eggs benedict and the ceviche.
The next option is Doc Ford's Rum Bar and Grill. It's open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Anyone who's been down to Sanibel or Captiva may be familiar with Doc Ford's, as they do have locations on both of those islands as well as on Fort Myers Beach. They are famous for their Yucatan shrimp, which we were able to try during our sneak peek and really enjoyed. Entrees primarily include seafood dishes, but they also offer chicken, beef, and vegetarian options. Additional menu items include chicken wings, flatbreads, soups, salads, and a raw bar.
I'd also like to point out that Doc Ford's offers a pretty good local craft beer list. And of course, it also offers frozen cocktails, a ton of rum drinks, and also premium rums and rum flights. Third option for waterfront dining is Teak. Teak is open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. Located at the pierhead, Teak offers a Florida-themed menu and great views of downtown St. Pete and the Bay. Entrees include several seafood dishes with a few steak and chicken options as well. The menu also includes pastas and lighter fare such as sandwiches, wraps, flatbreads, and salads.
Pier Teaki is the rooftop tiki bar located above Teak. Sunday through Thursday, it's open 10 a.m. to 12 midnight, and Friday and Saturday, it's open 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. This tiki bar serves craft cocktails along with bar bites. In our opinion, Pier Teaki offers the best views of downtown St. Pete, and it is a great place to watch the sunset. However, it can reach capacity pretty quickly around that time. We also do enjoy it during the day. We would recommend getting there right when it opens on 10 a.m. on Saturdays or Sundays before the crowd shows up. At that time, you might be able to enjoy the views all to yourself for a bit.
As is the case with most waterfront dining establishments, each of these 3 restaurants offer some pretty highly priced menu items. What we did notice though is that all 3 offer some fairly reasonable items for as little as $12.
Next, we do want to discuss the grab-and-go food options on the pier, and the first of those is the Spa Beach Bistro. It's open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Friday and Saturdays, 11 a.m. until 1 a.m. It's conveniently located between the playground, the splash pad area, and also Spa Beach. The Spa Beach Bistro offers snacks like chicken strips, french fries, pizza, and it also offers a full bar. We did the make your own pizza option, which is pretty cool, during the opening day visit. So if you're interested in seeing more about that, make sure to go back and watch our opening day video. The next grab and go option is the Driftwood Cafe. It's located on the pier head and it's open Sunday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. This is a coffee shop that also offers ice cream, pastries, and sandwiches. It's a great place to be during sunrise. Some of our favorite menu items are the guava bear claw and the white chocolate latte.
Oh, and we can't forget the bait shop, which offers one of my personal favorite delicacies, the corn dog.
That is true. Skylar loves corn dogs. But the bait shop does also offer things like hot dogs and snow cones.
I would also like to point out for craft beer fans such as myself that there's a pretty good selection of craft beers at each of the restaurants on the pier, and sometimes you can also find some located in the refreshment carts around the pier. In case you're looking for additional craft beer options, there's actually a beer bar known as Hops and Props located just to the north of the entrance to the pier as well.
And that concludes our overview of the food and beverage options on the St. Pete Pier. Next, we are going to move on and talk about some of our favorite aspects of the pier, but also address some of the common complaints that we've heard.
So yeah, let's get the negative out of the way first and address the complaints.
We do want to mention that we are relatively new residents to the St. Pete area. So what that means is we were not able to experience any prior versions of the pier.
Yeah, very true. And it seems a lot of people have a certain level of nostalgia for older versions of the pier. And while we would have loved to be around to experience those older versions, we're hopeful that having not been around to experience those versions will allow us to provide an unbiased review.
So next, we're going to discuss some of the most common complaints we have heard and read about the pier.
So the first complaint we've been seeing a lot of is the lack of shade at the pier. And I'd say this one's a pretty legitimate complaint. There's lots of native Florida palms planted throughout the pier, but while they look really nice, they do not provide much shade. And it certainly doesn't help that the pier's only been open during July and August, the two hottest months of the year. And while I don't see it being as big of a problem in the cooler months, it definitely is a legitimate concern during the summer.
I'll also add that it's a concern during the rainy season, because in general, there's not that much covered space, so it could be really easy to get caught up in one of those well-known Florida downpours if you're not careful.
True. So the next complaint that we're going to address is the lack of parking at the pier.
And this one we did kind of touch on earlier, but we will say when it comes to the parking on the pier, it is limited. We agree with that. So if you really want to make sure you get a spot on the pier, you do need to get there early. But we also pointed out that there are some great options within walking distance to the pier as well.
Yeah, there's actually 3 different parking lots within a 10-minute walk of the pier. And obviously that's not a great option for people that have limited mobility. So for those people, we would definitely recommend getting out to the pier as early as possible to ensure that you can actually park on the pier itself. One other complaint that we've been seeing is the lack of restrooms at the pier. And honestly, this hasn't been an issue for us, and I think that the reason it may be an issue for some people is that they may just not know where the restrooms are located.
I agree with that, because if you don't know where some of these areas are, they're kind of easy to miss. So we're going to take a few moments here and show you where each of the public restroom areas are. The first one is the brick building on the north side of the pier entrance. This is the closest restroom to the entrance and the marketplace. The next public restroom would be at the Spa Beach Bistro. This is going to be closest to the playground, the splash pad, and the beach. There are also 2 restrooms at the Discovery Center. They're unisex restrooms on the north side of the building. And lastly, there are restrooms in the Pier Head building. This one is a little harder to find. You do actually have to go through the Pier Gear and Retail shop in order to get to these restrooms. With the exception of the restrooms at the Discovery Center area, each of the restrooms had about 5 or 6 stalls in the women's restrooms.
Another complaint that we've been seeing is that there is not enough seating at the pier. And this one I can somewhat agree with. I think there definitely is a shortage of bench seating at the pier, I would say, especially between the tilted lawn and the pier head.
I do want to point out though that there is a lot of space for seating on the green spaces, like underneath the bending arc, on the tilted lawn, and also on the lawn at the pier head. But this does often involve sitting in the grass. So if it's something you're interested in, we would recommend bringing a blanket to be able to sit down on the grass. And we can understand that not everybody would be interested in sitting in the grass too.
And one other thing that I'd say is that currently the outdoor seating at the restaurants is pretty spread out and somewhat limited due to social distancing guidelines associated with COVID. I would anticipate that once we finally get through COVID, that there will be more seating in the outdoor areas at the restaurants. Another common complaint that we've heard is that the pier is too crowded and that it's difficult to maintain social distancing.
Now for this one, I think it kind of depends on when you're visiting and where you're hanging out on the pier. Because for example, we've been there in the morning time and late into the evening, and we haven't found it to be an issue at all during those times.
Yeah, definitely. We were actually out at the pier on opening day, and we had no problem at all finding space to ourselves out by Spa Beach or on the tilted lawn, and that was probably the busiest day we've seen out at the pier yet.
Yeah, this is a 26-acre pier that we're talking about. So if you are concerned about social distancing and you're willing to at least try a little bit, you should be able to find some space to yourself on the pier.
And I would add that one place where you may consistently have issues with social distancing is when you're trying to get food at the Spa Beach Bistro or at the cafe. If you're standing in line, it's just going to be an issue most likely. So for people that are concerned with social distancing, we'd recommend that you pack your own snacks for the day. So the next issue that we'll address is the dangerous and aggressive bike riders. I actually kind of agree with this one. I think it's great that the pier has these nice wide concrete paths that are excellent for various types of recreation, but the issue that I see is that the bike riders and the pedestrians share these same paths, and sometimes these bike riders do ride really fast and weave in and out of traffic.
And this is something that when the pier is not busy, it's not really an issue because there's plenty of space for everybody. But when it is during busy times and there's groups of people and you start to see them weaving in and out of people, that's when it gets a little dangerous.
The next complaint that we'll address is the expensive food at the pier.
Now on average, we would say we found the food at the pier to be a little bit more than what you'd expect for other areas in the city. But we also have to take into consideration the location, that you are eating on the pier and it's got amazing views of the bay and the city. So I think we would kind of expect to pay a little bit more for the food and beverages there.
Yeah, for sure. You pay a little bit of a premium for the location, but I'd also add that each of the 3 waterfront restaurants does have some reasonable meal items starting at $12 to $15 or so.
Yeah, and I also want to add that we were able to try some pizza at the Spa Beach Bistro. I think it was around $10, and we felt like that was a very reasonable option too.
The next complaint that we'll address is that there's too much concrete at the pier. And like we said earlier, there is a ton of concrete at the pier, no doubt about it, but we think it's great. We love the wide paths that allow for all the recreation. We see joggers out at the pier every morning. There's always lots of bicyclers and probably more rollerbladers than I ever even knew existed.
Absolutely. Ever since the pier has been open, I've been trying to get Skylar to buy us some rollerblades because it looks so much fun out there rollerblading on the pier.
That is true. She has been trying to get me to buy her rollerblades.
But as far as the concrete, we also want to point out that there's a lot of green space too. So we've got the lawn under the bending arc, we've got the tilted lawn, you've got the lawn at the pier head. And in addition to that, there's also a beach. So overall, I think it's kind of well balanced.
Yeah, I think so too. So the next complaint that we'll address is the ugly architecture, specifically relating to the pier head building.
Is that one really on the list?
It is. It's actually one of the most common complaints I've seen.
Well, I guess we're going to talk about it then. When it comes to the architecture for the Pier Point building, it is very modern. So if that's not your cup of tea when it comes to architecture, then I can understand why you wouldn't prefer it.
Yeah, from what I've seen with the prior versions of the pier, it definitely wasn't what I'd consider to be modern architecture, so I guess the people that liked the older versions probably aren't going to like this version of the pier. Like Jamie said, it is very modern, it's all concrete, so yeah, it's not going to be for everyone.
And it is something that's pretty subjective, so either you're going to like it or you won't.
Alright, so the final complaint that we're going to address today is the Bending Arc exhibit, and that it's either ugly or a waste of money.
Wow, people really have some thoughts about this pier being ugly.
They sure do. So I will admit that the first time I saw the exhibit, I was not overly impressed. We first saw it during our sneak preview. It was the middle of the day, and like some of the reviews I've read, to me it just kind of looked like a bunch of net. But after talking to some people, we realized that the best time to see it was at night, and thankfully we have come back to experience it at night. I do agree that it looks much better then.
I'll say though, I had a little bit different experience with the Bending Arc. The first time we saw it during the day, I thought it was pretty cool. It's this massive structure that hangs above you, and you can walk underneath of it, you can hang out underneath of it, and I really saw it as a place where people would gather. And we actually did a yoga class underneath the Bending Arc during the day, and that was pretty cool. I've also seen some other gatherings there, and have also heard that there's going to be some drum circles underneath the Bending Arc as well. So I think it's a really cool place for people to gather, and it also looks pretty incredible at night.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say Jamie enjoys it a little more than I do, but we both do like it at night. And whether it's actually worth the $1 million+ price tag that it took to construct, that is a topic for another video.
Somebody else's video.
Yeah, definitely. So now that we got all of that negativity out of the way, let's talk about what we really like about the pier. I think number one for me is all of the opportunities for recreation. Like I said earlier, the wide concrete paths are really great for all sorts of recreation.
And I just mentioned a little bit ago, we were able to take a yoga class underneath the Bending Arc, and we also heard that they're going to be offering outdoor spin classes too. Now for me, I've been really enjoying the views. Definitely at sunrise and sunset. We've experienced sunrise on the pier point and also on the tilted lawn, and both of those were incredible. And then if you want to be up at the Tiki bar for sunset, that view is amazing. To be able to see all of downtown, it's just really cool. So that's going to be one of my favorite things to continue to enjoy too.
Yeah, I agree, and I would say that drinking coffee at the Driftwood Cafe at sunrise is one of my favorite parts of the pier as well. Another thing that I really love about the pier is all of the free entertainment options for kids. I think it's great that there's an awesome playground, a splash pad, and a beach all right next to each other, and that they're all absolutely free.
Yeah, we're really excited for whenever our nieces and nephews come to visit us to take them to the pier in order to experience those cool activities.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna love it.
I also want to mention that we have really been enjoying the marketplace on the pier, and that is open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. There are a variety of local vendors that offer locally made products all over the Tampa Bay region, so it's a great way to support our Tampa Bay businesses at this time. And if you're interested in learning more about the marketplace, make sure to check out our video that we made from our most recent visit to the marketplace.
The last thing that I really enjoy about the pier is the Tampa Bay Watch Discovery Center. It has a lot of really neat educational exhibits. It's a great way to take a break from the heat, and it also has a lot of really cool animals that are native to Tampa Bay, especially this awesome crab.
He was a natural entertainer. If you do plan on visiting the Discovery Center, it costs $5 for adults and $3 for children, teachers, and active military. Entrance is free for children who are 3 and under with an adult. Admission is good for the entire day, so you can come and go during your visit. The Discovery Center also has scheduled events throughout the day. The admission fee covers all of the indoor events. They also do some outdoor educational classes, and the events that are outdoors are free to the public. Hours do vary by day and may also be extended seasonally. So check out the posts in the Tampa Bay Watch Discovery Center Facebook page for scheduled events and the hours of operation.
So there's obviously a lot of things that we do like about the pier. That being said, it is brand new. There's definitely some kinks to work out, and it wasn't exactly dealt the best hand either, having to deal with COVID and opening in the middle of the summer with the delayed opening. We're both really excited to see what's in store once we finally make it through this COVID pandemic and the weather starts to cool down, and we definitely think the Pier's best days are ahead of it.
Absolutely. We know that in the inaugural year for the Pier, they initially had about 78 different events planned. But of course, COVID threw a wrench in that. So we're going to be really excited when they are able to start planning some of those events again, because the Pier has some great space for things like festivals and concerts and some of the other events that they were planning for the Pier.
And that wraps up our video for today. We do want to thank all of you who stuck with us through the full video. We will be posting links in the description for the official St. Pete Pier website, the restaurants, the Discovery Center, and the St. Pete Looper. We're really hopeful that you all took something out of this video today and can use some of the information to enjoy your day at the Pier to its fullest.
If there was a topic that you found particularly helpful and you might want to come back and watch in the future, check out the timestamps in the video description. That way you can come back to a specific topic and watch that section versus watching the entire video again. And if you did enjoy this video, please give us a like and consider watching some of our other Pier-related videos. Typically, we're a travel and adventure channel, but more recently, we've been focusing on local content. So we will be posting more content around the St. Pete area and also the Tampa Bay area. So consider subscribing to our channel and turning the notifications on so you won't miss an episode.